Hello my loves, how you doing? Deanna here. Welcome to this video. I'm going to start with letting you know that I'm going live on Facebook to do the Mentoring for Awakening series, episode 8 and 9 this week is going to be recorded on Facebook. The reason why is because my laptop died last week and I have placed an order for a new one. However, because of delivery and because of everything that's going on in the world at the moment, I'm not able to get my new laptop quickly. So I'm needing to work off my phone. The problem with the phone and recording on YouTube is that uploading to a YouTube account via via anything really takes an extraordinary amount of time. So I've tried to record this several times and the uploads are so slow that it just has me off air for way too long. And inevitably I get sort of interrupted by a phone call or whatever, which affects the upload and blah blah blah. It's too hard. So I thought that I would record this session or this episode, and the next episode I will probably record tomorrow, and then I will get it onto YouTube, as soon as I sort out my stuff. Sorry, I'm just... Okay, so I'm in my little courtyard and it's really lovely, and I haven't done a live from here in a while, so I hope you can hear me well. I hope the picture is clear, and so let's get going. Episode 8 is about the inner record keeper, or in other words, your unconscious shadow aspect or mind. Yeah. Today I'm going to talk briefly about how to help yourself understand what the unconscious is, when the unconscious begins to surface, and how to recognize that it's communicating to you, right? Now, the reason why we've moved on to this is because in episode 7, I spoke about the inner fracture, how to identify and work with the broken, wounded parts of yourself, right? And so I mentioned and referred to the unconscious self, the shadow self even, as like the record keeper. Essentially, again, is your unconscious mind, that part of you that stores away all the different timelines, all the different events, all the different things that have happened to you in your life. But it doesn't just store away the memory of the events, it also stores away what I see and refer to is an energetic imprint. So the energetic imprint, I tried to, when I was preparing for this, I sort of tried to draw it to give you a sort of visual. I see it. Oh, hang on. And here's what I drew. See that? So say that's a timeline, an event, beginning, end. And so on it is like that, the charge, an energy charge of what's happened in terms of the energy in that span of a linear time, yeah, the time-space continuum. So when I'm talking about the energy imprint, I am referring to the thoughts that you had, the emotions and feelings that you felt, and where all of that was happening within your physical body, right? That's the energy imprint. Now, the charge of the energy that I'm referring to will depend on what the thoughts and the feelings were in that linear imprint. Yeah. So, if it was a high vibrational energy, the energy imprint will probably be like, either like a sound wave, or it will be like a vortex of peaceful energy existing, being within you. And often when it's an energy imprint that is at peace, or it's kind of at 0 point, it's like a there's no charge on a timeline, because the charge is neutralized, and it's a really beautiful kind of vortex of up, like Kundalini energy moving freely through your chakras and connecting to above and below. So as above, so below. Yeah. But often the unconscious shadow self, the record keeper, the record that's imprinted in your unconscious, right, over an event or a timeline, will have the kind of energy charge, thoughts associated with the timeline, and feelings associated with the timeline, that often speak of either when it's not in harmony, when there's a charge, it's usually because it's something out of harmony, out of balance. So, whenever you have what's commonly referred to as a trigger in some way, or it's like immediately, if you can remember, and this takes discipline and practice, immediately you can go to, oh, my unconscious is responding to something with a memory, with an imprint that correlates to something that's happening outside of me. Yeah. So, for example, we can say, well, let's use and I'm being nudged by Spirit to use an example of external power and authority, which is, we can all relate to this, especially at this time in the world. There's a lot of this coming up. So, for example, we observe something in our external reality that has to do with authority and power. Some sort of, mandate comes down around, well, far out, take your pick, seriously, these days anything goes, right? But what's more important is our response to what's going on around us. Now, let's say, and I'm actually talking from personal experience, let's say I notice myself responding to something outside of myself as with something gets triggered, and I respond, say, with shock or sadness, deep sadness, followed closely by a great deal of anxiety around what I've observed is going on. So ideally, how you want to what I'm hoping that you can get to is that in that moment of observing that you are having a response in this way to something outside of yourself, you can actually count to 10. You can take a deep breath and say to yourself, okay, so my inner record keeper, my unconscious, there's something inside of my records, in my filing, in my unconscious filing, that has had the experience or perceives this thing that I am seeing in a certain way, and so it's coming up to be acknowledged because there's an energetic resonance, yeah. And so then the work begins, the inner work begins, right? So then you can ask yourself those necessary questions in order to understand what is your record keeper trying to tell you? What is the learning? What is it in your unconscious that has come up, that has been triggered in order for you to give you the opportunity to heal, to neutralize, to balance in some way, yeah? So you can ask yourself those questions that I had in the previous episode. What am I thinking in this imprint, in this timeline, with this energy, with this reaction? What are my thoughts? Oh my God, authority is scary. Oh my God, I'm going to be punished. Oh my God, I am not safe. Yeah? These could be some of the thoughts going through my head, going through your head, around the maybe abuse of power that you've observed or I've observed outside of myself. Now, the next question, of course, is why? Why have I got those thoughts, those perceptions within me? Where is this coming from? Yeah? So, this, of course, is a really intimate process, and it can be, it can take time. So you may need to exercise a little bit of patience, lots of compassion and kindness towards yourself, until you can, with stillness, go back and just observe, why are these thoughts emerging? What is this charge? Where is it coming from? And what timeline specifically is associated with the creation of this energetic charge that I've got within me? Now, the next thing, of course, then is, what am I feeling? I'm feeling scared. I'm anxious. I worry. I'm depressed. I'm not safe. You know, like, there's just a myriad of different things that can occur as a direct result of watching authority at play, literally. And then immediately followed by, why am I feeling this? Where are these feelings coming from? How have I potentially been on the receiving end and are now scared of authority? What is going on? Yeah, something like that. Now, the next question then is, where am I feeling this in the body? Have I got a tension headache? Are my guts churning because I'm feeling this anxiety? Am I tensing up in my shoulders, my neck, I don't know, am I not able to eat because my digestive system is not able to function properly? Is my back sore? Is my spine sensitive? Like, just anywhere in your body, right? There will be signs, little hints, little messages within your body that are directly correlated to a charge on a timeline, yeah? And then the fourth thing is where is the energy that I'm experiencing on this timeline coming from? Yeah. So, what I mean by this specifically, is it generated by me? Is it coming from a condition or something that was conditioned to me by the family of origin? Is it coming from some authority, say, from my earlier life at school or kindergarten, or my grandparents, or what is it? Is it a lifetime memory, a really deep memory from a past lifetime that has come up to be cleared? Or is what I'm experiencing, perceiving, intuiting, a collective consciousness? Is it coming from a larger collective kind of energy or influence? The answers that you get, I recommend you write down or type in your phone. Easy peasy. But the answers will provide you clarity and the inner awareness of your inner record keeper. When you become a team and you work together to get these answers, the inner record keeper provides perspective. Yeah, the perspective then allows or gives a way to deeper understanding, core understanding, compassion, and then ultimately forgiveness. Yeah. And as you can feel compassion and forgiveness within you for whatever it was that has emerged from your inner record keeper, from your unconscious, is in turn neutralized as energy charge is neutralized, because suddenly the fear, the intimidation that you felt is no longer there. That means that it's been neutralized. That the sorry, the charge on the timeline is neutralized. So here's the really beautiful thing. Once you work out how to do this right, one perhaps timeline may emerge initially, but every single timeline in your life that has to do with the same pattern, the same series of feelings and thoughts, will then neutralize, because it's all connected, right? So you might only be working with one, but several things will or timelines will then suddenly come up as you're working with it, and they will converge, or concertina. And then as you dissolve the charge on the timeline, as you dissolve those feeling impressions or imprints, as you dissolve the thought imprints on those timelines, it just the timelines collapse, and you because they're neutral. Suddenly there's no energetic charge, there's no engagement, there's no crazy manic up and down on the timeline around the events, etc. And so, but that comes about with work, with conscious work, with compassion and forgiveness. And then you're able to return within you to a greater sense of peace, greater sense of, happiness, you could say, balance, harmony, and ideally to 0 point, because it is this 0 point that is all that is. A 0 point doesn't have an energy charge, it just is. And it is from this space you are then neutral, zero, able to consciously create anything you like. Yeah, because you are no longer creating from the unconscious mind. Okay? Did you hear that? It's funny. So I then wrote a note. Practically, this means that the memory remains. So you will still have the memory. You don't lose the memory. You still know that things have happened, that there have been events in your life, right? But those events in your life no longer hold a charge, and they no longer have an unconscious power over your actions. Yeah, they no longer drive your actions. You can then create whatever you want, whatever you're ready for, whatever your reality you want your reality to be in the moment. Yeah. Okay, so as a closing note, I just wanted to say to you that when I get to a point, to 0 point with something or around something, what happens with me is that I just feel, personally, I feel the greatest, deepest, most humble sense of gratitude for the experience, accompanied by absolute peace and bliss, regardless of how difficult it is, because I understand that this energy is just leaving my body. It is just so beautiful. So forgiveness is absolutely the key to just dissolving and releasing and letting go. But forgiveness ultimately is always for me as it is for you personally, not for the other person. It is to free you from being led by an emotional and mental charge as a direct result of something that happened, I don't know when, whenever, yeah? So I hope that I was able to just walk you through a little bit this process and to get you with some sort of more common, simpler language, get you to understand this thing around the unconscious mind, around the shadow aspect, when really it can be as simple as call it your inner record keeper, the keeper of the timelines and the events that have happened to you. And the timelines, every timeline has a charge on it that's still in the unconscious. That, remember, there's no timelines. When you're at neutral, the timelines collapse because there's no energy to hold it together anymore. So timelines collapse. This is quantum energetic stuff, quantum physics. So any timelines will have that are still in your unconscious, that are with your inner record keeper, will have a charge on it. Yeah, so you'll have some sort of an imprint that needs to be acknowledged or worked with in some way. Yeah. And of course, if you have a situation and you would like some help with regards to how to do this, just connect with me and we'll organise a session or two, and I can walk alongside of you and do some mentoring. I'm also a qualified professional counsellor, psych, spiritual counsellor, transpersonal counsellor, so I can help you with all of this stuff properly, professionally. So it's not just someone that can channel, that throws out, channeled information. I'm actually trained in this arena. All right, my beautiful darlings. Mwah. I'm going to go. I might do a reading shortly, but I just wanted to get this one thing done now. Okay. Thanks, loves. Bye. Mwah.